In terms of decentralization, they are going to share the burden to middle level and supervisory level management. Centralization means authority and responsibility is in the hand of a single person or a single group of people, that is top level management. We call it as a centralization. If we assign a right person with the right job, he can work effectively and efficiently and beneficial for accomplishing the organizational desired goals of organization. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I am Mr. Hemant Kumar from Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, MYSURU, the Temple of Excellence. Today we are going with the subject Principles and Practice of Management, that is session 4 of Unit 3, Organizing and Staffing for first semester BBA students. This is agenda of today's session. We are going through the concept of difference between centralization and decentralization, concept of staffing, and also objectives of staffing. These are the three topics that we are going to cover in today's session. So, difference between centralization and decentralization. These are the two techniques that is adopted by a management. So, management by centralization, management by decentralization. How the centralization happens and decentralization. What actually this centralization and decentralization is about, right? So, say for an example, there are three levels of management: top level, middle level, and executive level management, right? So there are three levels of management, that is top level, middle level, and supervisory level or executive level management, right? So here, in terms of centralization, all the responsibility is in the hand of only top level management, that is centralization. Means whatever the things that is going to happen only just because of the instruction that is given by top level management. Here in terms of centralization, there is no opportunity for the individuals to give their own contribution, right? Whatever the instruction, whatever a message, whatever a work or a task that is assigned by top level management, that must be performed by middle and executive level or the supervisory level management, that we call it as a centralization. Centralization means authority and responsibility is in the hand of a single person or a single group of people, that is top level management. We call it as a centralization. In terms of decentralization, it is a way how they are going to distribute the responsibility among subordinates. Say for an example, in terms of decentralization, there is a provision for middle level and executive level management to give their contribution. Means here the top level management, it is going to distribute its responsibility to middle level and executive level management. So this centralization method or centralization technique is used in small organization because there are only small number of individuals that is available in organization, so that they can have a hold on them. Means it cannot be applied for large organization. For in terms of large organization, decentralization methodology is beneficial because they do have a large human resource in terms of large organization. So small organization centralization method, large organization decentralization method. Simply, centralization means all the authority and responsibility are in the hand of a single person or a single group of people, that we call it as a centralization. If they disclose, if they share their responsibility with colleagues, if they share their responsibility with its subordinates, that we call it as a decentralization. So we shall go with both centralization and decentralization concept in depth by looking after the difference between centralization and decentralization. Meaning of centralization: the centralization of authority at the top level is known as centralization. As I said, the top management or the top level management, it holds a authority and responsibility, that we call it as a centralization. In terms of a decentralization, the evenly and systematic distribution of authority at all levels is known as decentralization. It is a systematic distribution of authority. Where there is authority, there will be a responsibility. There is no responsibility without authority, and there is no authority without responsibility. So here what they are going to do in terms of a decentralization, that they are going to distribute the authority among all the levels of management, right? So they are going to share the authority with all the levels of management, that we call it as a decentralization. Means top level management is going to share a responsibility with middle level management, and again this middle level management is going to share the responsibility with supervisory level management. This is the way how decentralization happens. Here, delegation of authority. So how the delegation of authority can happen? In terms of centralization, there is no opportunity for decentralization. Decentralization means sharing the responsibility with subordinates. In terms of centralization, this top level management does not share any kind of responsibility with middle level or executive level management. It is going to hold all the responsibility over an organization, right? So there is no decentralization of authority, as all the authority for taking decisions is vested in the hands of top level management, as I said. So it will be vested in the hands of a top level management. It doesn't disclose, it doesn't give opportunity for middle level and low level management to take responsibility or authority. In terms of a decentralization, there is a systematic delegation of authority at all levels of management, right? So there is a systematic distribution of authority and responsibility at all the levels of management, top level to middle level to supervisory level management. Again, suitability. It is suitable for small organization, which centralization is suitable for small organization because there is limited human resource. It is very easy to control human resource by centralized way. In decentralization, it is suitable for large organization. As I said, so human resource is large in quantity in terms of large organization, hence they are going to adopt decentralized way. Say for an example, in terms of a small organization, there may be 100 or 150 individuals, they may work under a small organization. It is very easy to control those people by a single management, that is top level management, right? So in terms of large organization, thousands together employees, they work in a large organization. It is very hard to control by a single management or a top level management. That is the reason why they are going to disclose the responsibility to bottom level management, right? It is going to disclose a responsibility for middle level and executive level management. There is no freedom of decision making in middle and low level management. In terms of centralization, there is no opportunity for middle level and executive level management to make decisions in terms of centralization. In terms of decentralization, there is a freedom of decision making at all levels of management. See, all the levels of management have a freedom to make their own decision and also to give their own contribution to the management and also to give their own contribution to the organization. Flow of information. So how the flow of information happen? Top level, middle level and supervisory level, right? So flow of information, there is a vertical flow of information. In terms of centralization, there is a vertical flow of information, means it comes from the top level management followed by middle level and it go to supervisory level management. It is vertical in nature in terms of centralization. In terms of decentralization, there is a open and free flow of information. In terms of decentralization, the information can be passed from top level to bottom and also it can be passed from bottom to top level management, but only in terms of decentralization, because this middle level and supervisory level management, they do have a opportunity to give their contribution for the benefit of organization in terms of decentralization. In terms of centralization, employee motivation. So in terms of centralization, employee get demotivated when compared to decentralization, right? Because why the employee get demotivated in terms of centralization? Because those employee doesn't have opportunity to give their contribution for the benefit of organization, hence they get demotivated, right? So whatever the instruction that is given by a higher authority, they are supposed to follow it, right? So they make them to follow such kind of instruction or the work that they had assigned with, okay? But in terms of decentralization, employees are motivated when compared to centralization, right? These people are motivated when compared to centralization because they do have a right authority to give their contribution for the organization, which mutually benefit organization and employee. It is beneficial for organization for the survival and growth of organization, and also it is going to benefit employee for their personal development. So conflict in decision. There is a least chances of any conflict in decision as only top level management is involved. Means in terms of a decision making process, so there is a least chances of conflict in decision making process because all the decisions of organization is made by only top level management. Hence there is no confusion with decisions, right? Whatever the decision that it is going to make, so it do have a proper plan and proper execution of that particular decision because there is a single authority which is going to make a decision regarding organization. In terms of decentralization, there is a chances of conflict in decision making as many people are involved. What happens if in an organization there are many people who used to give their own decision or to give their own contribution? There may be a conflict between decisions, right? So whether to follow that person or whether to follow this person, that conflict can happen only in decentralization. But this kind of conflict will be completely neglected or avoided in terms of centralization because whatever the thing that is instructed by a single person or a single group of people will be followed by whole organization, right? So next one, burden. In terms of burden, a burden of a work is not shared. So in terms of a centralization, a burden of work is not shared because all the decision, all the burden is in the hands of a top level management and only one group carries the burden. Means in terms of centralization, only this top level management carry whole burden of a organization. Hence it is going to make a crucial decision in the crucial condition. Whatever a decision that must be made from the top authority. Hence a single group of people carry whole burden of organization. The burden of work is shared among all levels of management, right? So here they are going to share in terms of decentralization, they are going to share the burden to middle level and supervisory level management so that they give equal opportunity to participate in each and every task, in each and every decision making process and also each and every activity. Right? So these are the difference between centralization and decentralization. This topic is very important in exam point of view. Please get well prepared for this topic, dear students. Staffing. So it is one of the function of management, right? So staffing is a function of management. What actually staffing is? So as we know, staffing is a process of placing a right person for the right job at a right time. That is staffing. This continuous process is a feature that can be applied for all the functions of management. It may be planning, organizing, directing, staffing and controlling. It is applied for all the functions of management, right? So hence we can say that staffing is a continuous process of recruiting, employing and hiring employees with appropriate skill for specific position, right? So here in the staffing process, they undergo recruitment, evaluation and hiring the employees, right? So this staffing process undertake this recruiting, evaluating and also hiring the employees. This staffing process include these all activity, right? So they are going to recruit employees, they are going to evaluate among the options that is available, right? So and finally they are going to hire the employees based on their eligibility criteria, based on their skills, knowledge and experience as per the requirement of the organization. Organization want a specific knowledge, a specific stream. Organization want a specific talent, right? So whatever a salary that the organization is going to pay, it is going to expect a same work from the end of employees. So there is a certain criteria that is followed by organization in the hiring process. It is a temporary solution for filling vacant positions for a short period of time. So whatever the hiring process, whatever employment opportunity that is provided by organization, it is temporary in nature. Means it is not permanent job. Such a kind of employees work in factories, office, warehouses and other customer service positions. So these are all the employees who are going to work in a separate department, division and separate entities. And also I had given a beautiful example regarding the staffing process, means how the staffing process is going to happen in organization. Say for an example, there is a vacancy of 20 people in organization. So there is a criteria for selecting 20 individuals. So there is, for 20 vacancies, there are 100 applications. So firstly, we are going to shortlist that application based on eligibility, based on their experience, based on their knowledge. Okay. So based on the courses that they had accomplished, based on the qualification, that I am going to shortlist 50 application, and later this 50 members, they undergo a kind of a valuation that we call it as an interview. There are levels of interview, and after conduction of the interview, I am going to finalize 20 members which is suitable for the right position as per their qualification and experience and their skill and knowledge. Based on these all criteria, I am going to hire employees, right? So this is the way how the staffing process is going to happen. So according to staffing process, we are supposed to give a right position for a right person at a right time. What is the reason? Say for an example, there is a dancer, he is a professional. If I ask a dancer to sing, there is no effectiveness, right? So when I ask a singer to dance, no, it cannot happen, right? In the same way, we are supposed to place a right person with a right job who is suitable for that particular position. He must have a skill, he must have a talent regarding that particular field or a stream. He must have a eligibility criteria, right? Because we are going to pay him, right? So we want a reward from the end of employees, right? Being a organization, right? So a singer is suitable only to singing, a dancer is suitable only for dancing, and in the same way, painter is suitable for only painting, right? So right person for the right job at a right time. Objectives of staffing. So needs assessment. This staffing process need assessment of employees, assessment of individual, right? It is the obligation of a management to do assessment of their workforce to get a better and the effective work from employees, right? So there will be a continuous assessment among the workforce of people of organization. Through those assessment, they come to know their skills, knowledge and their contribution that they are going to make towards organization, right? It is a kind of evaluation that is made by a organization. So hiring and job placement, right? So hiring means it is a way of recruiting the qualified employees, eligible employees to organization, and also they are going to place them for their stream that they belongs to. Means right person for a right job. Say for an example, if there is a vacant for accountant, they are supposed to find a eligible candidate from commerce or management background, right? So if they bring him from the science background, he doesn't know anything regarding accounts, right? So in the same way, right person for the right position. Training and assimilation. So this training and development program is conducted every year in every organization, because it is an obligation of organization to conduct training and development program to get update the knowledge of individual, to update their skills and also to update their performance in organization, because this business environment is complete dynamic in nature, because all the things that is going to happen in organization, it keep on changing from time to time, and in the same way, knowledge, skill, talent and capabilities of employees must also get updated from one time to another time. Efficient workforce development. What is this efficient development of a workforce? It is an objective of staffing to develop a workforce. So where there is a motivation, where there is a development of a workforce, it is a indirect contribution that is given by workforce to the management, right? It is a kind of income to organization. So what happens where there is a development of a workforce in organization, right? So they are going to work effectively and efficiently, right? So it is a kind of a income for organization. So by skilled and talented workers, we can do all the operations of a business effective and efficient way, right? So if there is a talent, if we are supposed to recognize a talent, we are supposed to select one who have talented one. While hiring process, so we are supposed to select a talented one, As I said, staffing process is a process of placing a right person for the right job at a right time. So what happens if I give a right task for a right person, he can perform it effectively and efficiently, and hence he can accomplish his objective by reaching out the goal that we had assigned to him, right? So what happens if we assign a job for a wrong person? What happens? So he doesn't know anything about that work, and he does not have any kind of efficiency, and work will be not effective, right? So there is a failure of task. So for this kind of uncertainties, this staffing process is very beneficial. So if we assign a right person with the right job, he can work effectively and efficiently, and beneficial for accomplishing the organizational desired goals of organization. Workforce longevity. What is this workforce longevity? Developing an effective staffing system help small business unit to retain their workers for a longer period of time, because it is going to facilitate training and development in the employees, and in the same way, after the employees they undergo training and development program, so they are supposed to retain in the organization, because they are going to impart a knowledge in the minds of employees, right? So hence it is going to beneficial to retain employees for a longer period of time only in terms of small organization. In next session, we are going with the topics of importance of staffing, general principles of staffing, and techniques of staffing. These are the three topics that we are supposed to cover in next session. Thank you.